Morning, good morning. It is Wednesday already. My goodness, already July the 18th. Woo, time is flying. I know I said a lot, but my goodness. Woo. Anyway, so I got on here to, of course, do what I do, which is keep it 100, give you my views on things, understanding, and we can just jump right into it. So I'm just now getting back from, I just got back from my trip from San Diego. I had a good time. I went to Coronado Beach. I went to Balboa Park. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It was just awesome. I went to they had like good food. I walked in, I went to the gas lamp area. I'm telling you, they really had some good food. I was like really like shocked. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I'm not gonna say shocked, but I was like, wow, this is beautiful. Like, y'all got some good food. I found an all you can eat sushi place, include appetizers, for $19.99. Oh my goodness. Y'all know I went up there and just ate up some stuff. And it was gluttony because I ate a lot. You know what I mean? I know it's funny, but when you say you ain't supposed to overeat, like I literally overate. And I'm like, wow. And like I'm paying for it because, I have to fast this weight off of me, because I gained a couple pounds. I'm like, wow, I didn't know it was going to do me like that. That's the consequences of sins. I mean, for real, like you can't sit up there and overeat like that. But man, it was just, and then the food was like really good, and then the portions, I was like, wow, really, I've never experienced this. So I just went a little too hard. Had to get myself back together, and know that my body cannot handle that. Like, and you can pack on some pounds real quick. I mean, I did a little damage. So anyway, I'm just, handling up on that right now. Okay, so I just want to get into it. So when I was there, I had a good time. I stayed in the downtown area. There was so many festivities going on. I didn't even know that. They had like a big Cubs game going on. They had gay pride going on. They had just all kinds of stuff going on. It was just really like a lot going on. So this whole weekend brought me to, when I went to the park that day, because I wanted to see, that park is beautiful, and I think on the other side they was having like the big gay parade festival thing, and I was like, oh wow. So I'm on one side, I'm on the other side, but they were kind of like taking over a little bit of the park side, and so as I'm walking, I see like all kinds of stuff. I see like trash cans that say lubricant on it. It's just very out there. I mean, you got businesses that's celebrating it. They got their rainbow flags. You got I seen like two girls kissing. The girl I was in the somebody that I was talking to told me that they were women were walking around topless. I mean, and then when I was just walking in the park, you just seen guys like basically out there massaging each other's back. And it was just a lot because, kids was at that park too. So it was just like, they really celebrated there. And then like, I guess they just do that when they have Pride. They get a whole month. They have Pride Month, I think. And then, so it was just a lot to kind of see, you know what I mean? And the thing about me is like, I'm not judgmental because I have gay friends, and I do have, and then one of my best friends was gay a long time ago. It was a guy, and I was like 17. He was cool, 16, 17. He was very cool, you know what I mean? That was my boy, and he kind of disappeared. I haven't seen him in years. I'm wondering how he doing, and the sad thing was he was battling a disease. So it was just like, wow, I hope he's still alive, you know what I mean? Because he was living reckless. Like, I mean, he was my friend and everything, and I was young, so I just accepted him for who he was, and like I accept anybody for who they are. But he was young and reckless. Like, he was doing some stuff, you know what I mean? And anyway, so no offense to anybody, you know what I mean? But the thing about it is, They shut down streets for this, you know. It was just a bunch of traffic. There was like thousands of people there for it. I mean, ladies, I feel so sorry for us. I mean, it was some fine dudes down there, like just fruity as I don't know what. You know what I mean? Rainbowing and everything, nice buff bodies, you know. You're just like, wow, like, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes they say, you know, people, you know, husbands and stuff be there, you know, like women don't even know, like when this pride stuff be going on, or where they be having these big gay things like in Atlanta, you know, out in San Francisco and stuff. Like, you know, if your dude is going around that time, you know, so I'm not saying all guys, but I'm just saying it's a lot going on down there. You know what I mean? I was able to be a little up close and personal, and I didn't want to be that up close and personal, honestly, but I was staying where all the action was going on. You know what I mean? Just, you know, it was just really kind of like sad, and it brought me to this. It's like, okay, you know, people do what they do, and I never cared. I'm like, you know, that's their life. They do what they want to do. It's their bed, you know. They love each other. But remember, I talked about love is not an act. It's not a feeling. It's an act. You know what I'm saying? It's not how you feel, or you know how somebody does it for you sexually. You know what I'm saying? I think we all can have a little freakiness for the same sex or for the opposite sex. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, you know, I think you can be tempted in so many ways. You know what I mean? Because this world is full of temptation. And the thing of it is, it's always seeing if we're gonna just run into it or fall prey to it. It's lust. A lot of stuff is just lust. You know what I mean? And so I was like, you know, if that's the case, if they can shut down streets and promote this kind of stuff, and I'm a believer, which is not really natural in the Bible, or, you know, which is an abomination really in the Bible. But, you know, people say they're believers, but people don't go by the Bible no more. People done made up their own rules, and then they wonder why it's so many STDs. They wonder why it's so many confused people. You know, they wonder why, you know, they wonder why. People just wonder why they get out in certain situations and they live a reckless lifestyle. Like my homeboy, for instance, I'm not gonna go there and say all the stuff I knew he was up to, but some of the stuff I really clearly didn't agree with, and it made me kind of distance myself from him, because I'm like, man, you out here like tripping. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's real, you know. And so I'm like, can we have a God Pride Day? You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, people should have all kind of Pride Days. If people worship the devil, should they have a devil worshiper day and shut down streets? You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't want to be an eye for an eye, but it's like, it's funny how religion, and if you're a Christian, if you're a believer of God, you know, that people try to shut you up and you can't do nothing. Ain't no way they gonna give us no God Pride Month. You think so? Let's see. I don't mind going to ask or seeing what I have to do or sending an email, because, you know, but you know what, honestly, I don't need like a month or, you know, a day or anything to show my love and be proud. You know, I just walk into God's blessing and mercy and grace on my life, because we need it. We need it. You know what I'm saying? We need it. I you know, sometimes I think we take that grace and mercy thing for granted. You know what I mean? Because we can just be living such a lie and so opposite from what the Bible says sometimes. So when we fall or when we just lost, or just something happens to us that just make us to get our attention, you be so thankful and humble to have a little grace and mercy. You know what I'm saying? And you know, so my phone done dropped. Hold on, this conversation getting good. So I was like, you know, it's just like, it's crazy, you know. And then the way that, you know, it's so open, and, you know, people just, you know, just whatever. And the problem I'm starting to have with all this is that I feel like the agenda is being pushed on people. I feel like you can't watch TV anymore without you seeing some gay stuff going on. You know, you're gonna see people kissing, you're gonna see, you know, whatever. And you know what, it's being promoted. This TV, this music, a lot of it is just very demonic. Once you really pay attention to it, it's demonic. Just like a lot of the stuff in the world is, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to be on your guard, like I said before. You have to be sober in your mind, like it says in the Bible. You have to be on guard. You have to be prayed up, because the enemy is walking around lurking to see who he can devour. And like I told you, some people are living in their sin. You know, I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, me eating all that food was gluttony. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm paying for it now because I packed on a few pounds. You know what I'm saying? Eating all the doggone food like that. So, I mean, I'm not here to judge nobody. And like I said, I know people that are gay. I have gay friends. It's not even about that. It's just about the agenda being pushed. And you know what? Another thing is, I stand firm to my beliefs. I'm a believer at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And I never cared, what people did. I'm not homophobic and I think sometimes some of these religious people can be over the top, about it. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of homophobic about it. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people deal with this, even in the church. A lot of people are undercover gay in the church. You know what I'm saying? And then even the church don't even address it how they should, because, people are scared to, a lot of pastors and preachers are scared to adjust it because so much of it goes on in church. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot. I mean, and it's good. I'm glad that people can come to church and be free and, feel, and know that God loves them, because God loves everybody. You know what I'm saying? No matter what you are, who you do. It's just the fact that sometimes we can be so prideful and so disobedient and live in our sin, and we don't think there's going to be no consequences about it. There's always consequences. I fear God, you know what I'm saying? And I'm still living, and I hope I don't do nothing, get off course either, because it can happen to everybody, because at the end of the day, we're human. We can be gullible at times. Like I said, we are lambs. Sometimes we're not that strong. We are weak. And sometimes the flesh wants what the flesh wants sexually. Some people are just freaks. Some people like to experiment with homosexual behavior. Some people like to just try it. You know what I'm saying? Some people are attracted to the same sex. But you know what the thing of it is we have choices. We have been having choices since we were kids. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I think some things can be learned behaviors. You know what I'm saying? I think that, like, if a child if you have if a single mom has a boy at 2 years old, 3 years old, and he see his mom putting on heels and putting on makeup, that can mess up a child's identity too. You know what I mean? Because he can start mimicking that, because sometimes kids do what they see. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. If a single father has a daughter, you have to be careful how you raise that daughter, because they can grow up with identity crisis as well. I'm not saying that's the whole reason why people become gay. Some people become gay because, they feel more accepted and they actually are attracted. And I feel like everybody has choices. You have the choice to do the right thing if you are a believer, and you have the choice to do the right thing. Like, you can choose to fornicate. You can choose to commit adultery. You can choose to idolize things. It's all still wrong. You know what I'm saying? But in the word, it says it's an abomination. Homosexuality is an abomination. And now, nobody can go around judging nobody about what they do, because all sin is sin. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I think that it's just too much out there, and I think that it can confuse children, because if it's actually, once you really think about it and get out your feelings, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I used to really didn't care about what people do, but once I got out of my feelings and really thought about it, I'm like, okay, here are some things that make me second guess the whole homosexuality thing. Is because, for one, it's unnatural. If that's the case, we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here talking to you. I wouldn't have no family tree. I wouldn't have no sister, no brother, no mama, no nothing. And I might as well not even exist if that was supposed to be, if it was supposed to be that way from the beginning of time. You know what I'm saying? And another thing, these kids growing up today, they're not going to know what a healthy man and woman relationship looks like, because what they're growing up to is already commercials on TV of men and women kissing each other in the mouth. And, you know, I seen something like that the other day. I'm like, wow, it's just all on regular TV. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, they're not going to know. They're going to be like, well, I got a choice to be with a man or a woman. So that means if they choose to be with the same sex, where's our future coming from? Our future doctors, lawyers, cops. Where's everybody coming from? We're going to die out. It's not, you know, you cannot procreate if you live that lifestyle. And if it was right, and if it was natural, and God created it to be that way, that means that I would never be born. That means his creation would have never manifest. That means I would never be able to see my visions and my dreams, and you wouldn't be able to see your visions and your dreams if a man and woman did not come together. Now, there are unorganic ways to have kids now, you know, or whatever, you know, freezing eggs and doing all this other stuff. But I feel like kids are to be created in a husband and wife relationship. Although you have certain circumstances where people can't have kids, or they've been aggressively attacked to have kids, you know, or whatever. You know, I understand those circumstances, but I'm talking about this in particular. If it's right, then it would be, you could create kids and other human beings out of it, which was the design from the beginning. You know what I mean? So it's like, at the end of the day, we cannot make up and do what we want to do. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it is just hardcore lust, you know, sex, you know, people accepting people for who they are, you know, and you might be attracted to the same sex. Just like I might be attracted to want to go rob a bank, or I might want to do something that I should not do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could be, scenario wise, I could be married, but my best friend's husband is finer than my husband. I desire him. I crave him. I like his body. He accepts me. We laugh together. We could end up getting into a full-fledged affair with each other, and, you know, whatever. And 2 years later, we still messing around. And we think we in love, but, you know, no, it was because of my lust. It was because of him accepting me. It was because I wasn't, you know, it's because of different issues on why I was brought to this. It was because of my real, at the end of the day, it was because of my infatuation and my lust. You know what I'm saying? And is that right to do that? Is that right to hurt my best friend like that because I'm attracted to her husband, because I like the way he looked, because he's really my type, and I don't appreciate what I got at home? It's all about choices. And sometimes as kids, as you grow up, you can just choose to live on a bad choice. You can choose to stay and live in your temptation. Like, if I grow up stealing, and as I get older, I'm stealing. Now I'm 21, 23 years old. I ain't got caught stealing. Now I done got incarcerated because that was just a slow, bad choice that I decided to make. I just want to put something on your mind. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm concerned about the whole future of America. And that's coming from everything. From people just disobeying God and not having no kind of fear of God, and just living so free and thinking that, and God does not want you to live just, you know, scared and not live your life. But it's like, we have to have some self-control, and it's time to it's just time to shed some light on it, some understanding, and it's all out of love. I'm not here to judge nobody. People gonna live the way they want to live, but I'm just here on my channel. That's why I have a channel, to have my freedom of speech. You know what I'm saying? And my freedom, you know, which we're kind of not free at the end of the day in America, because if you say something people don't like, it's a wrap. You know what I mean? Anyway, this a long video, but y'all, I just had to really talk about that so you guys can know I'm not being judgmental, but just understand my observations about it and why I'm just concerned. Have a good one.